Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time. WNDS Sports presents New England's favorite bowling show. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Featuring the best bowlers from around the region. Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And now your hosts, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and it's week 3 of our 4th ladder series, and we've got a great match for you this afternoon.
Between these two guys, they have at least, and I haven't counted them all, 3 Tournament of Champions titles between the two of them. Jeff, of course, the most recent winning last year in April.
All right, let's meet our bowlers this afternoon. First winner of a couple of matches. Our number 5 seed at the start of the match. Let's say hello to Gary Carrington from Plastow, New Hampshire.
And hasn't he been on a tear lately, huh? The last couple of weeks with 398 and 439, average 132, high single 196. Just recently bowling his high best for 499, and he bowls at Park Place in Wyndham and St. Joe's in Haverhill.
And Gary rolled a 683 in the roll-off to earn the number 5 seed, which was a tie with Scott Bradish. He beat Bradish and Joe Tavernese to gain this afternoon's match against number 2 seed Jeff Surette of Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
And at a very young age, a very seasoned bowler with an average of 128, high single 202, high triple 476. Bowls at Candlewood in North Reading.
And Jeff rolled a 694 to earn the number 2 seed in the roll-off. Let's get right to it. Gary Carrington and Jeff Surette coming right up from Leda Lanes in Nashua as we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We began with 5 terrific bowlers, and we're down to 3. Gary Carrington has won a couple of matches, beating Scott Bradish and Joe Tavernese, setting up this afternoon's match with Jeff Surette, with top seed Sean Baker waiting in the wings, and Gary Carrington will lead us off here at Leda Lane. Should be a great match. 2 of the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world going head-to-head, and let's get underway. Gary Carrington starts with a strike.
The domino effect.
Now he's made all sorts of strikes the last couple of weeks, including 3 in a row 2 weeks ago for a $900 triple strike jackpot. $550 in the jackpot right now, and that was a good first ball too.
Been a profitable couple of weeks for the bowler from Plastow, New Hampshire.
He made $1,000 in bonus money 2 weeks ago. There's another spare. He made $200 in bonus money last week. The runner-up this afternoon is guaranteed
$550.
$550. Jeff Surette, will he match it? Yes, he will. These guys feed off each other. Similar in the delayed reaction domino effect type of a strike. Jeff looking for 2 in a row. There they go.
Yeah. How about that?
So Jeff will be looking at a $550 shot when he comes to the line. What a start. The fans are getting their money's worth.
We have fans that line up, Dick, before 7 o'clock some mornings when we begin our tapings at 10.
Look at that for a shot. That hit the head pin. And look at what he's got.
If you'd like to come down and watch this action live, we will be taping our next 4 shows on Tuesday. If you're watching this on the 1st of February, come see us on Tuesday, the 3rd of February. Love to have you. It is free. Coffee and donuts, compliments of Leda Lanes.
Free?
Oh, you've been paying all this time?
Oh, son of a gun. No wonder so many people come. Here, I thought they were paying big money for these tickets, the front row seats.
Unlike the Super Bowl.
Here's Gary Carrington. That's a good first ball, and there they go. 3 marks and 4 boxes for Gary Carrington. Watch it again. Another delayed reaction. The 10-pin in the right corner. There it is. A little reluctant. A little reluctant. It finally gets kissed just enough to go. Triple strike shot for Jeff Surette right here. Missed the head pin.
Too bad.
That'll be an 8-box for Jeff. He has 49 through 3. Gary Carrington had 42 through 3. Gary is working on a strike in the 4th frame.
Somebody better tell these bowlers the more strikes and spares they throw, the longer they're going to have to talk to us at the end of the show. They don't care.
They're ready to talk.
They're ready to talk, yep.
They match the strikes in the 4th frame. The 5-pin in the middle, the king pin.
4 strikes out of a possible 8 so far. 8 boxes, 4 strikes.
Gary Carrington will. Oh, the 5-pin moved off spot. He looked back at me. What could I do?
I think he was looking for Ray. Ray Simino, the owner of Lita Lanes.
It's now the 4.5 pin.
Now a spare.
That moved a couple inches, didn't it?
It did indeed.
It danced.
I have a feeling we could be giving that $550 away here before the end of the day, the way these guys are going. A 79.5 for Gary Carrington, former Tournament of Champion winner, not once, twice.
That's a mark. Gary is really on fire. The only open frame, he threw the ball at the head pin and had a real thin hit. Jeff Surette right back at him. Jeff's working on a strike. Jeff missed it right there. That'll be a 10-box. Costly 10-box. Jeff moves over to lane 33.
With a 78, he's losing at the midway point. 78.5. And a not too fun split, 4-5-7. Piece of wood out in front of the 4 and 7. Sticking in the gutter also.
Ooh. Almost made the shot. Didn't think he had much of a chance, but he almost made it. And that'll be a 10-box. 88 through 6 for Jeff Surette. Gary Carrington has 89 plus a ball.
7 WCBC titles. That's World Candlepin Bowlers Congress. It's the Pro Tour, folks. You can see it 6 times a year in a bowling center near you. 7 times he's won it all.
Wow. Is he on fire or what?
3 strikes.
4 marks in a row, by the way. He had $50 in bonus money with that last mark. So he's got 75 now. Six marks and 7 boxes for Gary Carrington. Bounced that one a little bit, missed the head pin a little thin. And he's looking to move some pins around. He's still got another ball to fill the strike, and he's going to survey the situation here. I think he plays the wood on the 5-pin. That's the shot, and he's not going to make it, though. But that was the way to play the shot. He'll be open in the 8th frame. with a 10 box. 128 through 8 for Gary Carrington. During the course of the match, we'll get to some of your cards and emails and letters that we've received over the last several weeks. Jeff missed the head pin right there. 4 horsemen right side. Piece of wood set up behind the 1 and the 3. You've got the 1, 3, 6, 10 with the 8 pin in the back row. Got a shot at it. Missed the head pin.
You can meet and bowl with both these bowlers on Sunday the 29th. That's 4 weeks from today if you're watching on the 1st of February at Pilgrim Lanes. That's on Primrose Street, just off of 495 in Haverhill. A lot of the WCBC bowlers that you watch on Candlepin Stars and Strikes will be there helping to raise money for the kids from Pilgrim Lanes who'll go to Canada for an international tournament later in the winter. All gets underway at 9 o'clock. Costs you a couple dollars to bowl with the pros, but it's a great time. Bring your autograph books, bring your cameras, bring your bowling ball and shoes, and enjoy the fun. Dick and I will be there as hosts. Hope to see you there.
Spare for Jeff Surette in the 8th frame as he narrows the gap. Gary Carrington on lane 34. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV, presented by Tri-State Megabucks and the games of the New Hampshire Lottery. Helping education in the Granite State, 1 ticket at a time. Another thin hit on the head pin. That's the 2nd thin hit he's had.
Well, there's a fun one, Dick, huh?
Get the 5 with the back row. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very unusual leave. And the 5
There's
pin
the
goes.
back row, huh?
So the back row is still standing. The 7, 8, 9, and 10. How often do you see that?
There must be a name for that. I'll bet there is. You know, we got the 4 horsemen and the diamond and the triangle. Picket fence is what comes to mind, yeah. Yes.
That's a 7 box. He's at 135. He's cooled off from the first half. Can he break up the split?
No, he's got no help there with that that split.
The 2 and the 6 with no wood. Bounced it down. He's at 144.
Jeff's got a good shot to actually win this with a couple of marks now.
145 for Gary Carrington. Jeff Surette works on a spare. Little thin hit, breaks up the split, puts 8, puts 9
what
in the spare.
Nice break that was, giving him a good fill on his 8th frame spare and a very makeable shot with the pin right up against the 6.
You could make this shot probably 6 out of 10 times.
Another mark, and he's got this game. Actually, a 9 out would tie him.
He's looking for bonus money, too. Gary Carrington, $75 in bonus money in the first string. Jeff Surette, another spare opportunity. Put 8 in the mark.
Very makeable spare. It's the 2 and the 7 with a couple pieces of wood to help out on the shot.
Got to hit the 2 pin. Oh, there it goes. I didn't think he was going to get it. He did get it. He did get the spare. He's got $50 in bonus money, and he'll win the first string.
He'll win the first game. He could win it by as much as 10 pins.
They're at 145. He's at 145 now, plus the ball. Gary Carrington finished with 145. And here's the ball, and it is a strike.
Wow.
Add another $25 in bonus money. That's a 155 first string for Jeff Surette to 145 for Gary Carrington. Don't go away. We're watching some spectacular bowling, and we're going to continue when we return to Leda Lanes for string number 2. It's Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Jeff Surette will be first to bowl in string number 2, and what a first string it was. 155 for Surette, 145 for Gary Carrington. Surette starts off with a pocket shot, and there's the 5 pin and a piece of wood that appears to be frozen to it.
Old friends are here today, Dick, with us. Tony Zernicke, haven't seen him for a couple of months. is in the house. Great to see Tony, and we also have our good friend Bart Medeiros also on hand here as part of the 11th annual Rock and Bowl activities at Pilgrim Lanes in just a couple of weeks. One of the great coaches and people that really puts together a great program for the annual fundraiser to bring the kids to Canada.
We had the pleasure of watching Bart enshrined in the Hall of Fame last year.
Nobody more deserving than the accolades he received. I don't know anybody that loves working with young people more than he does.
Michael Jackson, perhaps.
Oh, I was afraid you'd say that.
And that'll be a 9 box for Jeff Surette. Bart does it for the love of the game, the love of the kids, and really is a real force in Candlepin Bowling and getting kids involved.
When my daughter was bowling at that level, she went on the trip to Canada one time, and I tell you what, it's so well organized and so much fun. It's a long ride, though, I got to tell you, up to Halifax, but worth it.
Gary's been a little thin on the head pin in this match, more so than we have seen him the last couple of weeks.
But he's carried those hits before. He's in a position he's not used to, and that's being behind.
Yeah, throwing a 145 and trailing.
Yeah, right.
That's going to be a 7 box for Gary to start out the second string. Got an email here from Joseph Smith from Woburn, Massachusetts, and he asks us to mention his mother. He didn't give us her name, Mrs. Smith, obviously. He says his mother will be 99 years old in April, and I don't think in all that time she's ever missed a bowling show. She gave up bowling herself when she was about 81 or 82 because her legs were starting to give out, but that didn't hinder her enthusiasm for the game. She'd be thrilled to hear her name mentioned, and I would be forever grateful. So Mrs. Smith, from your son Joseph Smith from Woburn, Massachusetts, we shout out a hi to you and wish you the best, and thank you for being such a devotee of Candlepin Bowling.
And happy birthday, number 99, coming up in April. Boy, we'd love to have you come down and see the show in person.
Wouldn't that be great?
Get your son to bring you down if you're able to get out and about.
Jeff Surette with a mark. Mr. Smith also wants to mention a very old Candlepin bowling house that's been around as long as he has, a small bowling alley located in the basement of the Towanda Club in the center of Woburn. It's located just across the square from the Woburn Bowler Draw. And he used to bowl in a small league there. It only consists of 6 or 8 lanes, but it's in marvelous shape. And the next time we are down in that area, we should take a look. So don't know about it, but we'll look for it when we're in the Woburn area.
Funny, that just triggered a thought talking to Tony Zernicke, who is from out in Webster, which isn't too far from your hometown of... You're from Woburn. I'm from Worcester, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought I told you that. Maybe I didn't.
In any event, you mentioned, we've talked about this at its peak. You thought there were somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 or 21
25,
bowling
26
centers.
or something like that.
Tony says that even earlier than because he's older than you are, there was, I believe he said 49.
Wow.
Bowling. Now some would be 2 lanes in a basement,
yeah,
you know, somewhere, but there were 49 bowling places, lanes, where one could bowl in Worcester itself, probably in the first half of the 20th century.
Gary put 7 in his spare. Will not get the second spare.
Bowlers are slowing down just a tad here after a quick out of the box 155 to 145 string advantage Surette.
And a 10 box for Gary Carrington. So Jeff's picked up a couple of added a couple of pins to his lead. But Gary is up against an open frame right here, so a chance to gain some ground with a mark. Good first ball. It was right there.
9-pin with a clear shot. No wood to worry about. There is some on the left side. Wouldn't want to use it anyway.
He's got it covered for the mark, and we go to the break. Jeff Surette leading Gary Carrington as we near the halfway point of the match. We're coming right back for more when we continue from Leda Lanes on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Jeff Surette has an 11-pin lead over Gary Carrington, but Gary has a ball to throw to fill a spare, so it's that much closer. And look at Jeff Surette as we come back from the break.
One of those instant strikes, as you'll see on instant replay here. Watch this instantly. Boom.
Explosive. Looking for 2 in a row. He missed the head pin.
Not an easy spare. 1, 3, 7, 10. Actually cut it a little too thinly.
Yep. Put the ball between the 1, 3, but too close to the 3. And a 9 box. No, it came back and took them all. I put my head down and was putting 9 down, and I heard the crowd roar, and I looked up, and they were gone.
Gary pulling that one a little bit to the left. That held it just a tad too long, filling only a 4 in his spare.
It's funny, he might be trying to make adjustments for being thin on the head pin, and he was off the head pin that time. And a 10 box. Box to box, a 15-pin lead now for Jeff Surette in the match. But once again, Gary's up against a Surette open frame.
Runner-up today, $550 next week. The winner today will play Sean Baker.
Gary Carrington, another strike. Watch it again. The 10-pin was the last to cave in. Jeff Surette missed the head pin. 4 horsemen right side, the 7-pin in the left corner.
Missed a few times today on the left-hand side, leaving similar spare shots.
Will they go? Yes, they will.
A beautiful shot. He gets applause from Gary Carrington, his opponent today.
He played it to the outside of the head pin, and the 10-pin tripped up by the piece of sliding wood that came all the way across the deck. On the spare, it is a 9.
Great fill and an easy spare with a couple pieces of wood right in front. Be hard-pressed to miss this one if you hit anything.
2 marks in a row for Jeff Surette. 4th mark of the string. So just when Gary Carrington thinks he's making some inroads, Jeff Surette answers with a couple of marks.
Well, it was like last week when Joe Tavernese, who'd been falling behind, finally threw a double, got himself back in the match, and then Gary Carrington matched it with another double.
Responding to the pressure, feeding off the pressure, thriving off the pressure.
You called it. That's what he did.
2 strikes in a row for Gary Carrington. Watch it again. $550 in the triple strike jackpot. Gary hit it 2 weeks ago for $900. And here we are again. He had an opportunity last week, too. Got a shot at it.
Punched it out, unfortunately, a little too high on the head pin, too full. But it's a good fill. And it should give him a much better position in this match than where he has been.
There it goes. Look at Gary Carrington to his knees. 3 marks in a row, another $50 in bonus money.
And a 3-pin lead in the match now, Dick.
Great shot by Gary Carrington. Watch it again. Watch the pin come flying over the top, off the wall, and it trips it down. Here's Jeff Surette responding. Jeff breaks up the split.
What a great break that was. He'd have had the 4, 5, 7, 8. Instead, he has the 7, 4, 7, and 8. The wood isn't great, but it's better than what he would have had.
Nope.
Yeah, Wood was angled just a bit too much and out a little too far from the actual pins.
10 box, 119 for Jeff Surette.
Well, we knew this would be a great match today, Dick, and it's living up to every bit of its billing, I think.
Great shot making by both bowlers. Makes it fun. 10th frame right through the middle. Spread eagle minus the 10 pin, which fell over. 2-4-7 on the left, 3 and 6 on the right. He goes to the right and picks up the 6 pin.
Jeff Surette turns 21 years of age on the 27th of this month. Graduated from Tewksbury High School, works at Candlewood Lanes. His dad, Tom Surette, is here today with him.
128 second string for Jeff Surette. 2 string total of 283. Gary Carrington is at 115 plus a ball. Fingernail biting time here. Gary was rooting for that wood to hit that pin.
Could be 4 marks in a row. More money. He's got 50 already in bonus money.
Add another 25. Gary will have the lead going to the 3rd string. And he's looking for a couple of more bucks. Put 8 in the spare.
He's got a shot at a 160 game here with the spare and an 8 fill.
Picked it. Picked the 5 off the 9. He's at 151. 152 second string for Gary Carrington. 2 string total 297. A 14-pin lead for Gary Carrington over Jeff Surette. Does it get any better than this? You are watching the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We return after this. Gary Carrington has a 14-pin lead over Jeff Surette as we head to the 3rd and final string of our semifinal match of the 4th ladder series of our season. Sean Baker, the #1 seed, will take on the winner of this match next week, with the winner of that match advancing into the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. Gary Carrington has been red hot. Will they go? They will go. Look at that. Gary willed them down, didn't he? Watch him. Watch the 6 and 10 on the right and the 7 on the left. It wasn't the 6 and 10. It was the 6 and 9 on the right and the 7 on the left. Wow. The 5-pin wobbles.
He's going into his kung fu crouch.
It's kind of you got to watch 2 things. You got to watch the ball and the pins, and you got to watch Gary.
Yeah.
Gary starts off with a couple of marks. Now Jeff Surette, the pressure's on him. Trailing by 14 going into the string and looking at a double mark by Gary Carrington. And Jeff.
Well, that's a bit of a break for him, actually.
Yep, the wood in the middle doesn't hurt him. It was almost a quarter Worcester.
That just sounded funny. Be glad to get this box out of the way.
And it's a 9 box to start out. But that's a good 9.
It is, but it puts him another 11 pins behind now. And you don't ever want to be 11 pins or 20 or anything behind Gary Carrington.
So he's 25 pins behind. And he's up against a Carrington spare in the 2nd frame, and he gets a good break there, but the wood is in a somewhat precarious position. He's got to put the ball between the 3 and the 6.
Yeah, if he caps that wood, then he can forget the shot.
Uh-oh.
Whoa! It carried through for him.
Didn't like it when it left his hand, but it had enough of an angle to take it out.
Apparently.
So good spare for Jeff Surette. Gary threw that one away. He knew it when it left his hand. Just put 3 in the mark. A rare low fill in a mark for Gary Carrington. Got a nice letter from Doria LaFay of Suncook, New Hampshire. Mr. LaFay sent us a wonderful letter talking about the history of Candlepin bowling and a little bit of the some trivial information that he had. He writes in the late 80s there was a bowling show on TV channel 12 in Concord from the Boutwell bowling lanes in Concord, in which a gentleman by the name of Chuck Langlois bowled the only 200 game seen on television. In 1988 and 1989 there was also a tournament for the top 16 seniors who qualified in a roll-off, and it was taped in one day at Boutwell's, a one-string elimination, number 1 bowled number 16, etc. No money involved. Everyone who participated got a plaque. However, the caveat is the TV station went off the air soon after because of a lack of sponsorship.
I remember that. Channel 21, did you say it was?
He said 12. I thought it might have been 21.
I think it was
21 is the one that went dark.
Yes.
Here's Gary Carrington. A couple of open frames. Opening the door a little bit for Jeff Surette.
Couple of marks, and we can tighten this matchup right now. And there's one.
Strike.
On a spare. So a full 10-pin fill on the second pin, second frame spare.
Mr. LaFay also sent along a copy of The Light Side of Candlepin Bowling, a bowling book written by Jim Fairhurst that's from the 1980s. There's Jeff Surette again. 3 marks in a row, double strike. He'll be shooting for $550 when we return from the break as we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Gary Carrington on lane 34. Jeff Surette trying to come back. He trailed in the match by, what was it, 11 pins after the second string?
Let's take a look here. It was 14 pins.
14 pins after the second.
And then he fell another 11 pins behind after the first frame, so he was 25 pins down.
He was 25 pins behind. Now he's put 3 marks together and trying to get back into it. Gary Carrington's off of a couple of open frames. And still open. Almost made the shot, but not quite. Had the 1, 3, and 10. The 10 pin still stands.
He's got to be feeling a bit of pressure now, because Surette is a great bowler and he's on a roll.
3 open frames in a row for Gary Carrington after opening the string. Strike spare. Well, he threw a pretty good ball, and look what he has to show for it. The 7 and the 10.
Not a bit of wood to help him out either.
Ooh, my goodness gracious. He banked the 10 pin off the wall, and it started toward the 7 pin. Wouldn't that have been something? 10 bucks. That one had everybody oohing and eyeing.
Sure did. Well, here we go, Dick. $550 on the line for Jeff Surette. Right here. With a strike.
Missed the head pin.
Makeable spare, the 1, 2, and 10 with no wood on the right-hand side.
There it is.
Beauty. That was a great shot.
Jeff Surette made a nice shot that time, putting the ball right between the 1 and the 2, kicking the 1 into the 10. just like you diagram it, and it's a $50 shot. That's a $25 shot. He had $50 prior to that. He's going to put 6 in the spare, and the wood is set up for him to make this one.
And he is building himself a nice lead. Be close to 30 pins through 6 boxes in the last game. There it is. Oh, my.
5 marks in a row for Jeff Surette. Watch it again.
Now it's 30 plus a ball in terms of his lead with 4 frames to go. My, things have changed quickly.
The lead in the match is 16 plus a ball for Jeff Surette. So Gary Carrington needs to mark now. Oh, he threw a good ball. He's got the 5 pin still standing. He buried it right in the pocket, didn't he?
Perfect shot.
A solid 5 pin. It never moved. Right on it for a mark. Once again responding to the pressure as he has so many times in the past. Gary Carrington, one of the greats.
We'll see another great next week. Sean Baker taking on the winner of this match, which is still very much up in the air.
That one got away from Gary. He's looking for some help.
Nice break for him right there.
He
the
did
way
get
the
a
pin
break.
fell.
6 in the spare. Got a shot at it with that wood. Missed the head pin. So he will be open in the 8th frame. And it's an 8 box.
Jeff Surette, who bowls in a league with his father and his grandfather at Candlewood Lanes once a week.
They're surrounding the 10 pin.
His dad, Tom Surette, former professional bowler, says, I haven't beat him once in a while. Not that often, though, right, Dad? 5 in a row. 6 in a row. And he is walking away with this match. Missing the head pin, taking down 5.
Right through the hole. So the string of marks will end at 6. And it'll be a 7 box. 2 boxes to go, 23 pins, the lead for Jeff Surette over Gary Carrington.
Surette's at 416 already with 2 boxes to go. Carrington at 393.
Gary needs a double, and it's not out of the realm of reality for him at all to put it on the board.
He's done it many times the last 3 weeks, including the first week where he had a $900 triple.
Right on the head pin. Can't break up the split. Left a tough shot.
Well,
the wood is there.
He'd like it to stay.
Oh, it fell off. He didn't like that.
So what do you play that piece of wood out there, Dick?
Yep, absolutely.
That's your only option.
You have to. Hope the ball bounces and takes them both.
Do you cap it or do you hit it out broadside?
Hit it on the edge. No, he capped it and missed it.
Time is running out on Gary Carrington, and so is the math.
And that will be a 10 box. He's at 106. After a 145 first string, a 152 second string. Magic faded away for Gary Carrington.
That was a good pocket shot, but the ball was fading, and the 5-8 is still there.
And a mark to close it out. 116 plus a ball.
So it'll be a $550 payday today, but Dick, in past weeks, he's racked up a lot of bonus money.
$1,000. He threw a pretty good ball. He's going to have an 8-pin fall and a 124 third string for Gary Carrington and a 421 triple. And he's going to lose the match. With a 421, he's going to lose. My goodness. $10 for Jeff Surette. 143. Jeff's at 426 already.
It's the kind of score he'd like to have next week when he takes on Sean Baker.
They're still falling for him. There it goes. And there goes the 1. Will the 10-pin go?
It was nearly a strike.
Spare 153 for Jeff Surette. So Jeff is at 436 plus a ball. 153 plus a ball on the string. Put a deuce in it. 155. 3-string total of 438. He beats Gary Carrington's 421. And Jeff Surette advances to take on Sean Baker next week. We will return to meet our bowlers when we come back to Leda Lanes right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars.